Hey, what's up, guys? How you all doing? So today, this week, I mean, exactly today, I watched a movie, a Korean movie called Pastlives. You might have heard it. It got a cult status online. So I wanted to check it out. It's a slice of life, feel good, accepting our fate and going on with our lives. A movie with interesting conversations. You can say so many things about this film. But I would say, like, this movie really got my heart at some parts, but at some parts, I feel like it didn't really work for me personally, and let me discuss why. So, Past Lives is about two characters. Before that, I'll say who stars in the movie. So, you might know Greta Lee. I think she was in Russian Doll. I think I saw her in Russian Doll. And then Theo Yo, and then John Magora. John Magora, I've seen him in a lot of movies. I don't know, nothing crosses my mind, but I've seen him in a lot of. I think I saw him in Umbrella Academy as well. Greta Lee and Theo Yo, Greta Lee who plays Nora, and then Theo Yo who plays Ha Sung. I can't even pronounce the name, but in the in the movie, when she says Ha Sung, it's really satisfying. Like, it was cute to hear Ha Sung or something. She says it like that, and it's nice. And then so these two people, they grow up in Korea, and they are friends, but friends who have crush on each other. That's what they show. It's innocent love, basically. In their childhood, when they're like 8 years old, they grow up there. Nora's parents, they decide to immigrate to Canada. Sadly, Nora and Sung had to. I'll stick with Sung. I can't pronounce his name properly. So Nora immigrates to Canada, and then Sung, he stays in Korea. So sadly, they had to split their ways, and Sung doesn't really say anything because it's so clear that he's devastated that she's leaving. And 12 years later, Sung gets in contact with Nora, and then they talk there, and then they talked about, and flirt, and while they're talking, they realize that they like each other. But Nora is a very ambitious woman. She's a writer. She wants to make it in writing, basically wants to become an author, win awards and everything. So Nora decides to split, like, we should take a break. And then again, she breaks Sung's heart, so they split their ways. And then 12 years later, that's how they show, 12 years later they get to meet again. But in that period, Nora gets married, and then Sung dates, and then he gets a good job, gets settled. But this time, how do they meet is the idea, basically. So Sung, after he breaks up with his girlfriend, he tries to reconnect again with Nora, but Nora is married. So Sung goes to New York, and then Nora moved to New York now. I forgot to mention that. So Sung goes there, and then he meets with Nora, and they talk there. And then of course, Sung's intention is to, even though he doesn't say it out loud, his intention is to sort of to get back with her, but also to, I don't know, meet his childhood best friend or whatever. But Nora is obviously in love with Arthur now. So in this time, they talk their feelings, and but they realize that Sung realizes that Nora has a life now, so I can't disturb. And then Nora accepts that, both of them accept that it's in the past and we can't do about it anymore, and then they move on with their lives. That's basically the story. I thought this was a very good movie. So now let's get into what I liked and didn't like about this film. So the biggest plus of this movie is the actors. That goes without saying. Like, I thought the main three characters were brilliant in it. And the second biggest plus is the conversations these people have. Like, I loved so many places. Like, for an example, when Arthur and Nora, when they talk about why their love story is very typical, and I mean, like, Nora's and Sung's love story is very, it's very poetic and filmy, and Nora explains like why she's in love with Arthur. I thought that conversation was very interesting. Like, bits and pieces here and there, the conversations, even the last conversation Nora and Sung have, and they explain. But my favorite has to be the conversation between Sung and Arthur. I thought that moment, like, they don't really speak because Arthur doesn't understand Korean, and Sung doesn't speak English. So there's a scene where Nora and Sung and Arthur, all three of them are there, but Sung tries to communicate with Arthur, but he can't. Nora and Sung, they start talking while Arthur is left out of the conversation, even though he's still still there. I thought those like wow, like these moments are what makes this movie special. Every conversations were brilliant, and yeah, each and every scene, like how it stands out, how it's different, and everything is what makes this movie special to me. And the negatives have to be, for me personally, I feel like the romance angle in this movie didn't work for me. Like for Nora and Sung, I thought their childhood portion was pretty cool, but except the last 40 minutes, like their romance angle, or especially where they talk and they connect, I didn't resonate with me. And the scene where the second meet, once Nora gets married and he meets Sung gets to New York, yeah, that scene. When they meet, like they're meeting after 24 years, it should feel like a moment, right? But I don't know why it didn't connect with me personally. It did not work for me, so I felt like the movie fell flat. But everyone else, I saw a lot of people, they really felt something at that point, but for me it just didn't work. But the last 40 minutes is what made the difference for me. Last 40 minutes were fantastic. Like so what happens in the last 40 minutes is basically Nora and Sung has to accept like they can't get together anymore, right? So that acceptance, I think, stood out for me. That worked very well. And I think why that romance portion didn't work for me is because of the Tamil movie 96. I'm not sure if y'all have watched my Tamil viewers probably know it, but others I'm not quite sure if they do. So 96, basically the plot of 96 and Past Lives is not very different. 80% it's the same. Like so a reunion. So what happens in 96 is basically they have a reunion, and in that reunion, this school people who fell in love during their school times, they meet and they realize that they can't get together anymore because the girl is married, exactly like Past Lives, and they have to move on. But I did feel like with Past Lives, they did two things better. One, the ending was way more mature than 96, because in 96 they make a whole ass drama, especially a scene like the husband guy wasn't there, so the wife cries and she makes a whole scene about it. It's almost like she hates her marriage life, is what I got from that movie. But in Past Lives, I thought they dealt it in a much more better way, because Nora waits until Sung leaves the place and then she cries. That's because, you don't want to give them the idea that it's not like Nora is sad. It's just she have to let go of her past, right? So I thought, but still she's very broken that she can't get along with Sung. I thought the way that was dealt in Past Lives was much better than what they did with 96. And the husband character, that's what made the huge difference for me in this film. He's the husband character. In 96, they don't even show it. It's almost like, bro, do you have any idea of what your wife is doing back at India? But here, he gets in the middle, and then he tries to be a nice guy. He is a nice guy, and he understands that, okay, they were in love once, but she has to let go and, get from that. It's her part, and I'm just going to be there and support. And I thought, wow, that's a well-written character, and the actor who performed also was really great in it. So those two things, they did it much better. So I felt like the last 40 minutes really worked for me. And another reason why this their chemistry didn't resonate with me is they were children, right? They were 8 years old when they went on their first date, and they split up. And they met again when they were 20, I think. 20 or 22, around that age. So you're telling me that person from 8 to 20, they never... I mean, they might have dated someone, I don't know. But still, you really think about the same person. Okay, one could argue that, that happened at a very, very early age in their life. So it affected them, and that emotions carry that with them even to this day. But still, maybe that's the reason why my brain keeps on... I don't know, when I'm watching the movie, just that love story didn't resonate with me. And I think that's one reason is because of this. And even another 12 years later, they meet again and they still have feelings for each other. And I don't know, my mind keeps saying again and again that one reason, like, really, it's been so long. You still remember that person, is what I think. But I don't know, for a lot of people, it has worked. Maybe I'll understand it later, but now I just don't. One reason that was convincing in 96 is those guys were high school lovers. They fell in love with each other in high school. But both of these people were 8 years old. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know if everyone thinks this way, but for me it doesn't. Another thing that Past Lives did better than 96 is male character very much real in Past Lives than in 96, because in 96 the guy is such a saint, basically never like looks at, never even makes any eye contact with that woman, and that seems pretty unreal, right? But in Past Life, a basic guy who wants love and who comes back even after knowing she's married, he comes back just to see her. I feel like, yeah, that's something real more than 96, the main character in 96. I feel like this movie nailed that part as well. Other than that, I think Past Lives is a good movie indeed. I'm not saying no, but it just didn't work for me that well. So yeah, but still I would say it's a very good watch. Maybe if you haven't watched 96, this might work. But anyway, still give a try. A very meaningful movie is what I would say. So yeah, watch this movie and let me know how it is. I'll see you on another video, guys.